So to welcome everybody tonight to the Rocky Mount Family YMCA all-staff gathering and a celebration of our cause-driven movement and cause-driven leadership. And yes, can I get a woo? A big woo? Okay. That was a medium woo. That'll work. Not a really big one. Before we go any further, I'd just like to ask God's blessing on our night. So I'm going to ask you, if you will, wherever you are, just to pause and bow your head as we pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, Lord, to celebrate the work we've been given amongst each other, Lord. Lord, we believe that the work of the YMCA is your work, Lord. Its mission is your mission, God, and the people that are impacted, God, in all the ways they are touched, Lord, is because of the great grace that you've shown and given to all the people, Lord, that are part of the YMCA. We ask again for your blessing on the evening, on all of the people that are here. God, I pray for encouragement and learning and understanding, Lord, and growth in every aspect of service and community that is possible here at this YMCA. And we ask it in Christ's name. Amen. So tonight is about you guys, but my name is Ron Elkins, and I'm the chairman of the board for your Rocky Mount YMCA. I have met some of you guys. Some of you guys I have not met. I don't actually do a lot of physical activity while I'm there for a lot of meetings. You can probably tell by looking at me, I don't do a lot of physical activity in the Y. But I used to be, a while back, I used to be one of those rowdy guys in the gym in the morning that seemed to get rambunctious and do all the things and cause a few issues here and there. I was part of that group. And once they got rid of me, things have obviously calmed down a little bit there. But I really do love the Y. I believe the Y makes a difference, and I believe that you guys make a difference. Every interaction I have at the Y, I don't think I have personally ever had a negative interaction with a staff member, with anyone at the YMCA. Every time I see someone, they smile, they welcome me, they ask me, do I need help? And we have a great staff that leads, that I think their job is made a lot easier, and they're more effective because of all the work that you guys do to stay positive, to work even when it's hard, and to deal with all the day in and day out aggravation of just dealing with thousands of people that come through our facility. And it would be impossible without the work that you guys do. So I just like for everybody to give themselves a big hand, if you can, for the work that you're doing. I would just like to give you this encouragement before I introduce the video, that I introduce Jacqueline as well, to let you know that if you're like me, a lot of the things you do day in and day out to serve people probably feel like little things, like they don't really matter a whole lot. But I'm here to tell you and remind you that little things matter a whole lot. I'd like to give you just two quick stories from my life. One that is involving things that I've been able to do, and other things that were done to me. They involve the actions that are taken that are small, and they involve the words that are spoken that may be small, but they make a really big impact. I pastor two Methodist churches, as well as being part of this Y and working outside of that. And in Robertsonville, we had a lady who came to our community from Connecticut and stayed there for a few years before she left to go back home to Connecticut. She was there for 2 years and left. Part of our church for probably not more than a year. But during that time, she had some issues in her family life, and so some other folks from our church and men from our church and ladies just were kind to her. They mowed her grass when it was tall and she had no way to take care of that. They made sure to include her in things in the community that were going on that she would have otherwise known about. And when she left, the ladies of our church made her a small basket, a gift, as she went back to Connecticut, where she was from. And that's about it. That's really about it. You know, she heard me preach, was probably not that impressive to her in any stretch of imagination. But on my birthday a few years ago, on Facebook, it showed up, and she commented on someone's post, happy birthday, she goes, happy birthday, Pastor Ron. She said, being part of your church changed my life. Okay, and that really touched me because it made me realize that we did not do anything, I think, out of the ordinary. We did not do anything above and beyond other than be kind to someone, smile at someone, recognize someone needs a helping hand here and there. But as she said, that being part of that group who loved her and cared for her, it changed her life. So you guys, as being part of a group that loves and cares for people day in and day out, I want you to know that you are absolutely changing people's lives by the small interactions that you have with them. Don't ever forget that, especially when the bad days come and the people aren't very responsive or kind in return, don't forget that you're making a really big difference. The other thing, the second thing, and the final thing that I'll say is that my dad died when I was 18 years old. He was 55 years old, and he was not he wasn't a very overly emotional man. He wasn't a man to give a whole lot of hugs and stuff. He was a good dad, but he wasn't real super affectionate in a lot of ways. And I have some negative memories around some of those things. But I tell you what I remember more than anything about my dad in my 18 years is the night I graduated from high school. He wasn't able to come up to me and say it, I don't think, and he didn't. But what he did, he gave me a gift, and he wrote a note, and he left it on my dresser, and he said, "Ron, I'm very proud of you." Okay, I am very proud of you. Of all the things he ever did, good or bad, I remember the words he spoke into my life. They're very simple words. I'm very proud of you. So again, the things you do and the words you say day in and day out in the YMCA are making a difference in people's lives, okay? So don't ever forget that. Keep doing the little things, keep doing the small things, keep saying the small words and smiling those big smiles, and you'll keep making a difference. I want to share you one thing I wrote, and then I'm going to introduce a video. Alyssa asked me what it was how I felt about the YMCA, and I responded in the email that I liked the YMCA. And she said that was not enough. And I had to get in more detail than that. So I just want to read to you what I wrote to her that day, and I really mean this from the bottom of my heart, is that I have faith that the YMCA is in cooperation with God as we use our resources to bless the people of this region and answer Christ's call to serve others rather than to be served. I know the YMCA's make a positive difference in the lives of many people, physically, mentally, and spiritually. I love the Y and this Y, because it has the best people, the best leadership, staff, and volunteers of any Y in this nation. I don't believe in the Y, I believe in the people that make up the Y. They're the ones that make people smile, provide help, and help others live a better life. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for what you do. Thank you very much for what you do. That being said, I want to move ahead in our program. Tonight we have a video that shows some of the history of the YMCA and its cause. right, it's my pleasure now to just give a brief introduction to the CEO of the YMCA, Ms. Jacqueline Price. Give her a hand if you will. So much to say about her, but I won't do it. I told her if her husband was here, I'd pick on him for a minute. But I'm not going to do that. But Jacqueline works very hard, and she's much appreciated. Jacqueline?
All right, we're going to start off this night with kind of following suit. And tonight is about all you guys who are out there with us and celebrating you as our employees at the Y. So we're going to start out. If you've been working for the YMCA for more than 20 years, if you'll stand up. Is there any of our 20-year plusers here tonight? I need you guys to stay up, though. You've been here 20 years plus. All right, if we have somebody that's been here for 15 years or more, go ahead and stand up for me. What about 10 years or more? 10 years? What about, all right. So 5 years or more. And then we've got our 5 years or less people. If you've been here with us for 5 years or less, go ahead and stand up. All right, so let's go ahead and give everybody in here, we're going to go ahead and celebrate you guys tonight because you are the people that make it happen here for the Harrison Family YMCA. So let's give ourselves a big round of applause. So I want to go ahead and thank you guys because that's what we made this night about. Liz is excited. She's going again. Another round of applause for you guys. So obviously we're here tonight to celebrate you guys. You're the guys that make it happen each day. You help make and shape our community, make us who we are, help us have that effect, makes us here to serve our community and everybody in it. So we want you guys to be recognized and thank you for that and the impact that we make. I want to take a second, share a little bit of my history with you guys because we're here tonight, some to talk about the why, who we serve in the community and how we serve, but I want to share a little bit of my story. Ron introduced me. I know a lot of you guys I recognize. I don't know some of you guys' story, but I wanted to share some of my story and how I became an employee for the Y because it wasn't really a direct route. And some of us say, we choose the Y, but I didn't actually choose the Y. I grew up in a small rural community, been serving with the Y for close to 19 years. I think I just started my 19th year. Growing up, didn't even actually know what a Y is. My first experience with the Y was I was roughly 16, drove to the small Y 30 minutes away from my home and my community to prepare to take lifeguard training. And not a lot of resources. I was in a very small community. So I saw it. My view of the Y was a place to go swimming or a place to practice swimming. So I left, went to college. So, we all get out of college eventually. So we'll go with eventually. During that time, I worked mostly in the Parks and Rec arena. So I got that lifeguard certification. Worked for roughly several years in the aquatics area. So when I had to get that job, I had served and started looking for some different jobs, and actually got a call to come back to that small hometown and serve in a Y that had begun that was struggling. So at that time, I was paired with a veteran CEO that had retired. He was a strong Y leader, and learned a whole lot in that experience. Quickly got introduced to the Y and learned about the mission and how the Y serves in the community. Ultimately, that particular Y, after working there roughly 6 months, we made the decision to not continue that Y in that community. But I caught the Y bug, or some of us talk about drinking the Y Kool-Aid. I don't know if some of you guys talk about that as part-timers, but so I decided to pursue that career and began looking for Ys, and ultimately ended up in Rocky Mount. And I pursued jobs in North Carolina, South Carolina. At that point, I had to move back home for about 6 months and was not going to continue that either. So getting out of my house was the main goal again. So began working here, I think roughly 1999. I went through kind of the ranks: aquatic director, membership director, operations person. Came to interim CEO for a while, and in 2011, I was elected to be, or selected to be, the CEO of this organization, which was, at the time, an awesome opportunity. We were, to give you guys some of the history, I think some of the new faces in here and some of the people who don't know kind of our history. 2011, in in that area was a tough time for Rocky Mountain community, tough time for us as the entire community. Things were changing, people were moving, economy was struggling, nationally the economy was struggling. It's a tough time to become the brand new leader of the Rocky Mountain Y. So, the focus really became, let's keep this Y surviving, let's really focus on being successful, making sure we can survive financially. And one day we kind of looked around and said, what about these people who are making us great? So the employees, we kind of just went through. We have some veterans here. I think when I looked, there's some folks that have been here 22 years. I think was our max. So we have some 22 years down to our brand new people that are sitting in here today. So, so with realizing that you are the people that make us great, we decided we were going to move into kind of surveying you guys. And I don't know if there's anybody here who remembers, we did some surveys and we ended up finding out that you guys wanted some things from us as an employer. And knowing that we valued you guys and you're the ones that were going to make that impact for us, we decided, well, hey, let's put this plan together and let's take care of our people. And over the last 4 years, you may or may not have realized that we've been doing some things along the way to really try to show you guys you're valued. And I think, talk a little bit about some of those action items we put together, and hopefully you guys will kind of see. I think you guys communicated in that survey, I think you got to go back a slide. We really heard from you guys as employees that you wanted improved communication. We heard that you wanted more engagement opportunities. We heard that you wanted to be trained and you wanted to be knowledgeable as Y staff and employees. You wanted to be able to know the mission, know the cause, be able to talk the language, understand what we were trying to do in our community. Really started focusing on that with you guys. We wanted, a lot of people came back and said, I want to know, we talk about being healthy, we talk about making our community healthy, we want to know how to be healthy as well. So that's a little bit about what you guys told us in this survey. And I think I was going to share a little bit, kind of highlight some of the things we started doing throughout the years. And if you're a new employee, you'll say, well, that's always been the way it is. If you're an old employee, you'll be able to say, I remember when it was not that way. We're trying to have a stronger communication with you guys. We do memos, we do staff memos. We're doing a whole lot of education around annual campaign, which I think really highlights for you guys what we're doing in our community, how we're serving our, just everybody in the community. We're serving the children, all those people, really letting you know what our cause is, what we're here for, how we try to love our community, what that means. I think we've really changed frontline training, trying to make sure you're trained, trying to help you understand the language, how to communicate between each other, communicate with people, the members. We try to create staff engagement opportunities and different ways to engage with each other. Tour process, I know Liz has worked a lot with that staff and all of our staff across the board trying to teach how to engage people and do cross-ribbon tours and talk about what we are as an organization, as well as some of our Employee of the Month program. We had some pictures up for our Employees of the Month and trying to really let you guys know you're appreciated. And I think that's always our goal, understanding that our employees are the people that make us successful. And we count on you guys to reach that community so that we can serve all. In that survey, I think when I read back through that stuff, I was really impressed by what you guys had to say as employees of our organization. Some of the verbatim statements you guys had in here says about working for the Y has helped me understand where I want to go in my career. Has also shown me how the Y strive to communicate their cause and really live it. Some of your colleagues said I'm healthier. Some of you guys said I enjoy working at the Y. I come in each day ready to create change in our community. You're being looked up to by people you work for and run programs for. There's a responsibility there to make one conduct themselves in a professional manner. You're always in such a positive workout venue that affects how you look at yourself and makes you want to take care of yourself. So that's some of the things that you guys have to say about yourself and about how you feel about working for your organization, which is encouraging when you run an organization and you want your people to feel positive about the places that they're coming to. So I wanted to share some of those comments with you from the feedback that you guys gave us on that. So, I want to kind of introduce this video and let you kind of open your eyes to what the opportunities are for you as for being an employee with the Y and some of the things that you may not be aware of that the Y can allow for you. Either, it's more than a job, it's a choice. It can be a career. I think I speak for kind of my quick synopsis of my career. Never had the exposure to a Y, even when I took that lifeguard training time and was working to be a better swimmer. Never even knew what a Y was doing in the community. It wasn't an opportunity I had in my small community. Even when I went to take that job at a failing Y, I never thought that's where my career would end up. And 19 years later, that's what I'm doing, hope to be doing. Hopefully not for 30 more years, but 25. So I'm gonna let you guys watch this, and I'll close out my part and introduce kind of the training session for tonight with our guest speaker for the evening. So I'll go ahead and let you start that, Alyssa.
I thought I was gonna come in, play some games with these kids, and then go home at the end of the day. I really just wanted a different job to have better pay, spend more time with my family.
Honestly, I was a junior in high school. I just needed to pay for my gas money.
I figured if I work part-time, I'm gonna get a free membership. I'm gonna get to use the facility. But it's grown into so much more. It has so much meaning for me, just seeing what the Y does for people.
But I think I have as much fun as the kids have because they did rock climbing yesterday. I got a chance to do rock climbing, first time doing it. So I get the chance to do the stuff that the kids have fun doing, as well as being the adult and working with the kids as well.
The biggest benefit is the flexibility.
I'm in my senior year of college right now. I've been able to go to school every quarter without this job interfering with my school.
Having a son with autism, I'm kind of needed at home in the evenings. This has allowed me so much nice flexibility. I feel incredibly well supported.
I love the chance to mentor other people. The YMCA is probably one of the best I've ever worked with as far as training and helping people develop as a professional.
I think the YMCA did a really good job of cultivating their passion, and they have lots of great leadership classes. When they know that's something you want to pursue, they really make it a goal to put you on the path.
Coming from, low income family, not always having it. I know if I wouldn't have had people in my life, especially people at the Y, invest in my life, I know that I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Being able to give back to a community that I'm relatively new to is fulfilling in its own way. Kind of some money as well is a big thing.
I mean, my life has changed here, so it's just awesome to see how other people's lives have changed, and knowing that I have a small part in that just makes it a great time.
I started out just as a part-timer, had no intentions, but working in an environment like this, with the members and seeing the changes that you see in people, it's a place that I'll always be.
It's a family, it's a community, it's what the world should be like, and that's how this job makes me feel.
So, from this video, you guys can recognize the Y can be your calling. I want you guys to be a part of my family. We are a family together as we work to serve our community. We as a family, I want to be there for you guys during our times of success, when you in times of struggle. We want to provide the opportunity for you guys to be able to impact others, impact our community. as far as, we want to be the cause. Our culture is the cause. That's part of what we're doing tonight here. We want you guys to come together and understand what the cause is and how we're trying to do that in our community. So we took the time to come together to recognize you guys. Once again, I can't say enough how much we appreciate what each person does individually to make us who we are and to serve our community in the way that we do. And that's why at this point, in an effort to help continue to understand the cause and drive that cause, we've invited Walt, who serves with the Eastern North Carolina Collaboration, which serves to help us in Eastern North Carolina learn to serve our community better and work to serve our community better. Works with the Triangle Association, but works here with us kind of locally up tonight to kind of do some training regarding this and around that for us. So I'll go ahead and invite Walt up to do that and close us out a little bit on that this evening. So.
Now we got clap. Thank you, Jacqueline. I'm going to do a little housekeeping up here for a second, if that y'all can bear with me. This is great. How y'all doing? I heard from about 5 people. How y'all doing? Yeah, okay. Well, that's good. That's a good start. Let's see what we can do to continue to make this the best Thursday night of this week that you're going to have. I really like that stand-up exercise, Jacqueline. So let's try this, because I need to know a little more about who I am talking to tonight. So I'm going to call out a department, and if you work in that department, this is what I need you to do. Not what I want you to do, but what I need you to do. I need you to stand up, and I need you to say with pride, because you're very proud of the department in which you work, and say, that's me. You got that? Got it. All right. You can do whatever you want to do, but you got to stand up and say, that's me. And however you want to embellish it, knock yourself out. All right. All right. We'll go first. Let's go with aquatics. All right, now, what did you learn about aquatics with that?
There's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
What else?
Hey, I should be vacant.
They're trying to be loud. I'm going to say that. And I'm also going to say that they're a little uncoordinated.
Yes, you are.
Did that really look like a collective effort?
Practice makes perfect.
Kayla, do you want me to try that again?
Yeah, we can be louder.
You think you can be louder? Okay, let's try that again. Okay, where's the wellness staff? I tried to throw y'all a curveball on that. And I thought aquatics would be ready to go, and I was going to see how well everyone else is paying attention. So it looks like we all need to pay a little bit better attention. Okay, so here we go. Okay, let's take 2. All right, stand up with pride. That's me. Let's talk about aquatics. That's a pretty high bar. Well done. All right, how about youth?
That's just me. I like that.
It is. We're talking quality over quantity. All right, how about gymnastics? Membership. What about admin?
That's all, y'all.
This is great. Operations and maintenance.
That's us.
Child care. Okay, what about volunteers?
That's me.
You other volunteers in this group too. That's what we do with the Y, Ron. That's what we do with the Y. All right, who did I leave out? I thought that, I'm sorry, I apologize. When I said child care, where we come from, that's all sort of one and the same. So I learned tonight that it's separate. So child watch. All right. I make mistakes all day long. I try to count them, and so that's one mistake so far. Who else did I miss? Oh, come on. CEO. Good job. All right, now, humor me, and in the spirit of it, the Harrison Family YMCA. That's great. Thank y'all. Because that is us, and that's everybody. And I want to thank y'all for being here. Again, my name is Walt Reynolds. I work with the YMCA, the Triangle. I'm sure most of y'all have, you've got buckets on your table, and there are wonderful programs for tonight in there. And because honesty is one of our core values, I need to correct a mistake in the program. Alyssa just looked at me like, oh my God, what did we do wrong? In that, they got little bios of folks. And I was feeling my oats when she asked me about myself. And I put in there, and it was kind of a joke. And I learned something about Alyssa. She takes things pretty literally. So I put in there that my college is undefeated in football. When I was at college, every away game of ours was homecoming for the other school. We don't win football games. But we started this year and we won our first 3, so we were all beating our chests and saying that we're a powerhouse. In fact, our third game, the score was, you ready for this? The score was 91 to 61. That was a college football game. And I think we were really good on our oats after that, and we promptly lost the next game. So we are no longer undefeated, but I wanted to make that correction. I want to thank y'all for having me here tonight. I want to thank you for your flexibility and schedule. We're sorry that we hadn't rescheduled for tonight, but I'm so impressed at how quickly you're able to do it and how flexible y'all were in making the change and coming out here tonight. Thank you for that. I also want to thank you for choosing the YMCA as your career. That's remarkable. I've hired a lot of people in my career at the Y, and I've been impressed with everybody that I hire. And I know that they can all work just about anywhere else because of their talent, because of their character, because of their skill, but mainly because of their character. And I think it's the same here. And I know that we don't pay what you can earn elsewhere, but yet you choose to work for the Y. And a lot of you have chosen to make it your career. And you do it for the mission, and you do it for other reasons. And I just want to thank you for that. And I also want to be brave and thank you ahead of time for your attention and your participation tonight. It is going to be a good night. I hope you all learned something from what I have to share. A lot of this is going to be a reminder for you because you're so tenured and you're so professional and y'all have trained so well. But it's always good to hear things another time. But also because of the hour and because of the night and because that we are here and because we like to have fun, there's going to be a lot of participation in this. And this is a training, as Jacqueline said. It's an official YUSA training, living on calls. And I'm going to tell y'all it's a 5-hour training. And I'm excited about this. And when I told Jacqueline it's a 5-hour training, she said, that's great, but we're going to be out of here by 9. And so, you guys are smarter than the average bear. We're going to do a 5-hour training. I'm not going to tell you how long it's going to take, but I promise you we'll get out of here in time. That's what I can promise you. What I need y'all to promise me is that you'll pay attention and that you'll participate. Because I'm going to ask you a lot of questions, I'm going to ask you to do things. And the more you participate in the energy and the response you give and the amount of attention you give me, the quicker and the better this is going to go. And if I can kind of tell that the participation is kind of low, or people are looking at their phones, or they're really tuning out, I might add in a few of the things that I've cut out of this 5-hour training, and we may be here a little bit longer. So, is that a deal?
Deal.
Participation, is that a deal?
Deal.
Great. You know something I like to do a lot of times is I'm like, thumbs up. I mean, like, you hear me, you agree with me, you're on board, you're following me, so if I give a thumbs up, I mean, if I don't see many thumbs up, I'm going to say they are not listening, they're not with me, and I'm going to keep on talking. Good deal. All right, so we're going to practice a little bit more on this participation. I got a quiz for you. Remembering our shared history. If you know the answer to this question, I need you to raise your hand, and we're going to find out there is a raise for the right answer. Right, Jacqueline? No, I thought we talked about this, didn't we? Well, anyway, there'll be a prize. There'll be something. All right, when was the YMCA founded? No. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. You were thinking about the Harrison, so that is correct. The Y, and so good job. I'm talking about the YMCA, the International YMCA, the first ever YMCA. Anybody got a guess? Yes.
1856.
1856 is not right. 1865 is not right. You're in the right century. You're in the right century, and it's north of 1850. I'm sorry, it's south. I get directions mixed up a lot. South of 1850. 1844. You have got it. You've got it. June 6, 1844. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it over here. Raises for everybody. I feel like okay. All right, where was it? Where was it founded? I'm going to start over here. Do you have a guess? England, yes. Can be more specific? Name a city in England. Yes! I knew you would have it. All right. Anybody know why? What is that why story? Why was it founded? I heard Bible study. What do y'all think about Bible study? Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm looking around. People are still voting. People are still voting. It's about half and half. Did you have something to say? What?
Industrial resolution.
Oh, gee, I think you're well coached. I'm going to give checks to both of those. During the Industrial Revolution in England, a lot of folks were flocking into London for jobs. They were leaving the country, they were leaving their home, they were leaving the influences of family, and these were young men. I'm speaking on behalf of men. We are terrible. And so, we were alone and in London, and all of a sudden we found all kinds of vices. And this terrific young man, George Williams, he was 22 years old. 22 years old. It was his idea. He said, we're going to found this club around a Bible study to provide safe places for these young men in this city of sin. And that was the start of the YMCA. All right, last question. What has the Y done since then? Can you think of something that has benefited the world that the Y, that exists because it came out of the YMCA? What did I hear? Basketball was invented at the YMCA. Yes. What else?
Swimming.
Swim lessons. Invented at the YMCA. Not invented, it started. What else? Volleyball was started at the YMCA. Absolutely. What else? It sure did strengthen community, didn't it? Absolutely. That's right. They finally wised up. That's right. All right.
That's why we have a woman as the CEO, right?
How about that? How about that? Let me share with you a few other things. This is the first ESL classes from the YMCA. I didn't know that. Toastmasters started YMCA. Didn't know that. Here's a real good one. And you might have to fact check me on some of these things, but this is just what I've been told too. Father's Day. Father's Day started through the YMCA. How about that? Even have holidays. All right, that was pretty good for participation. Now we're going to do another one. In your magic buckets on your table, there are sticky pads and pens and such. So everybody's going to need, let's share. Let's practice sharing. And everybody's going to need a sticky note and a pen. All right, on that sticky note, this takes no talking. This takes no talking, which y'all are pretty good at right now, no talking. And what I want you to do is give serious consideration. Serious consideration, and in one word, answer the question, why do you work for the YMCA? What are some of the words that y'all used? Children. Children. What else? Pardon? Did you say love? What a beautiful word. What a beautiful word. Did I hear money? Who said money? Stand up. Go ahead. Come on. It's okay. All right. Yeah. What's your position at the Y? Lifeguard. We're paying them way too much. Oh, okay. What other words did y'all hear? Happy, joy,
Yes, prepare to the play.
swimming, purpose. Oh, purpose. That's good. What else? Liz. Oh, that's so sweet. What? I'm gonna cry. That's Liz. That's so sweet. Tell you guys this is a good staff. Fantastic. Y'all are primed, you're ready, you're warmed up, your participation is good. Is good. We're going to get better as the night goes on because I believe in you. This is going to be great. All right, so tonight, during this training, there are three main things that I'd like to accomplish, and this is what y'all get to grade me on. The three things are outcomes, and this says leave here today. Let's go ahead and call that tonight. So we want to leave here tonight having rediscovered our connection to the wise cause. We want to leave here tonight having felt inspired to build and deepen relationships. And we also want to leave here tonight having been empowered to create memorable experiences. Check? Check. Questions? Questions about that? Does anybody have the one that they want to add? I love inviting opportunities to add. Hearing no other additions, let's move on. All right. So, culture and cause. Let's talk about this a little bit. Let's move on to the next slide. The YUSA, they were really smart up there. And the YUSA has created this framework that has identified 6 practices that are necessary or important in order to have a thriving culture. Thriving culture sounds like what we want to have, right? Thriving, living, growing, joyful, exuberant. And in my time so far at the Rocky Mountain YMCA, I see a lot of this stuff here. This is really good. We're not trying to fix anything. We're just trying to always get better. And so in order to create and sustain a thriving culture, it's important to communicate our shared culture, communicate, and I saw communication as one of the things, empower leaders at all levels, hire and promote the right people, connect and inspire and develop people, integrate everywhere, and remind and celebrate. That's what we're going to really focus on tonight. We don't have time to focus on all 6 of these disciplines, and I think that you're really doing a great job in these things. Thumbs up? All right, so let's focus tonight on remind and celebrate. In order to remind and celebrate, how do we do that? at the Y, we use a lot of storytelling. We use storytelling and engagement activities to do this. The trick with it is, as the slide says, the trick is you don't just do it on Monday, or you don't just do it in January, but you do it consistently, repetitively. And that's what our culture is what we do, how we breathe, we just live, we do it all the time. So when we do that, next slide, it really helps us see that we do it with our voice. And this is what we've all trained in, this is what we all know. The voice of the Y. So in fact, we even had fun activities coming in tonight, really highlighting those voice attributes. They are, and I'm going to say, I was going to say let's just read it together, but I think that y'all are already a step ahead of me. So all I'm going to do is remind y'all that being welcoming, being genuine, being hopeful, nurturing, and determined. That's not new to anybody here, is it? No one. You all know that. And that's one reason why you get hired for the Y, and that's one reason why I think folks are attracted to work at the Y. And Ron, you even talked about it when you come in every day at the Y. This is what you see. This is what you see. So thank you. And what I love about this slide, and what I love about this voice is it's who we are, but yet we have to choose to be who we are. And that's the only thing we get to control is our attitude. And so we make this choice every day. This is what we choose to do. It's easy for a lot of us. It's hard for a lot of us. It's easy on some days. It's hard on some days. But it's what we signed up to do. So take a minute, and there's somebody at your table who you probably haven't spent much time talking to, and share with them, of these 5, which one is most natural for you? And share that with the person who's saying, which of these 5 is most natural? All right, switch it up a little bit, and now think about it, which one's most challenging? That doesn't mean you don't have it, that doesn't mean you don't do it. Which is the one that you have to really kind of check yourself and think about it? You know, what's really important about these things is although we demonstrate all 5 of them, they're not all that natural for us, not all 5 of them. Or certainly not every day and in every situation. But what we have going for us is us. And how do you lift up and support the person working with you every day? Because I tell you, we're humans. And Ron even talked about sometimes, we have folks coming in the Y or coming in our programs who will test us. Is that true? Thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Yeah. And so we have our choice. How do we respond? And sometimes we just may not be able to, but that's why we are a team. And that's why we work together. Because we help each other out. That's really cool. I like that. All right, so let's keep that in mind and let's continue working together. And so now let's talk a little bit about connecting to our cause, which is to strengthen community. How many of y'all knew that our cause was strengthening community? Yeah, that's good. That's important. Before we get to that, before we can help others discover their connection to the Y's cause, which is strengthening community, we have to begin with each of us as leaders. because we are all leaders in here, how to understand and articulate our own role in fulfilling our cause. So our cause is a promise. This is what we have publicly told Nash and Edgecombe counties, that the Rocky Mount, the Harrison Family YMCA promises to strengthen the community. That's heavy. That's heavy. It's not just to teach swim lessons, but it's to strengthen community. And we do it through our programs. So it's a promise. And a promise, as you know, is a declaration that one will do something specific. You can't get much more specific than strengthen community. That's pretty specific. We promised it. What happens when you break a promise? Because when you shout out answers.
Lose trust.
Lose trust. What else? Negative feelings. Yeah. What else?
Lose respect.
Lose respect. Yeah. Disappointment. Mm-hmm. Let down. What else? Lose your credibility. Mm-hmm. What happens when all those things happen? Yeah, you lose your why. You lose your why. Some folks will say, well, you never had your why. You never were strengthening the community. That ain't happening here. That's not happening here. But it's just important to know that we have made a public promise to strengthen a community. And with that, we do that always because we can't be everything to everybody. We have limited resources, limited amount of staff. So we have to focus in 3 areas. And what are they?
Youth development.
Say it with pride. What are they?
Youth development.
Youth development. Come on, folks. What are they?
Healthy living.
Healthy living.
Social responsibility.
Social responsibility. And youth development. That's right. We focus in those areas. All right. So with that, what we do every day, strengthen our community, could begin with a transaction. And with a lot of businesses, the YMCA is a business. With a lot of businesses, a lot of relationships begin and end with a transaction. I go into a store and I buy a shirt. I don't go back, you know. It could be I go to the Y and sign up for gymnastics. That could be my transaction. And I might not ever come back or so. Transactions, important, necessary, but at the YMCA is what happens after the transaction and the relationship after that transaction that makes things and can create things that are transformational. And that's what we want to be focused on. That's what we do, and that's how we are strengthening the community. So with that, let's watch this video. feel? Who wants to share?
Proud.
Makes you feel proud. Yeah, proud. Important. Yeah, the work we do is important. Emotional. Yeah, I almost tear up. I've seen this thing about 20 times, and I get emotional every time I see it. Yeah. Motivated. Motivated to do what? This is the participation.
Motivated to do more. Yeah.
To do more. Yeah. Was there a particular scene that resonated with you?
The guy that was cleaning up, talking to the teenager.
Yeah. Oh, gets me too. You just don't know what's going through folks and what they're going through, do you? You can easily just walk by them or smile and nod. But the folks who come in the Y every day are real people just like us, and we've got our issues, we've got our challenges. And we need people. We need people to share them with. What a great way to strengthen a community. And that's how we connect to our calls, is that our job is people. And what's really kind of weird about that is your job title really doesn't have anything to do with that. And a lot of folks just identify themselves as their job title. And your job title was given to you. You didn't get to choose it. I'm big about making your own choices. I'm big about personal freedom and personal choice. My job title is Vice President of the Eastern North Carolina YMCA Collaboration. Oh, that's a mouthful. What does that have to do with strengthening a community? So, what's really fun is to make up your own job title. Think about what you're hired to do. That's one thing. And you'd be lying if you don't answer this next question the same way. Think about all that you do. Because I'll bet you everybody in this room does more than what their job description just says that they're hired to do. Think about what you do to strengthen the community. Think about what you do when you show up to work every day. Think about why you choose to work at the Y every day. And what title would you give yourself? What I like is this cool picture here. I don't know if everybody can see it. This guy, his name is Chris, but he's given him a title of Minister of Fun. Minister of Fun. That's cool. He looks fun. You would quickly think, oh, he must be a youth counselor or something. He could be in wellness. He could be in aquatics. He could be in admin. He could be membership. He could be anything, because you can always have fun at the Y. Minister of Fun. All right, so right now, let's get those sticky notes out again. And we're going to, right now, exercise our free choice, and we're all going to give ourselves a new title. And let me tell you what mine is. And I use alliteration. My new title is, well, I've got two, because I also can't make decisions. Mine is Inventor of Ideas or the Sultan of Solutions. Which ones do y'all like better? Isn't that cool? Sultans of Solutions. I love helping people solve problems. I love helping people move forward with wherever they're stuck or whatever they're worried with. Sultan of Solutions. It gives me pleasure when I can help somebody out with problems. All right, so take a minute. You didn't have to be alliteration, but give yourself a new title. So please listen and follow directions. Okay, so in a minute, but not right now, you're going to gather everything that you brought in this building with you. Gather it together. Because you were given a table assignment when you came in here. And what did I tell you that I really am a big fan of? Freedom of choice. Yeah, freedom of choice. So in a minute, but not now, you're going to gather all your belongings, including the sticky note that has your new title on it, and you're going to choose what table you want to sit at. But it can't be the one where you're sitting now. You gotta move. You gotta move. Because you're going to exercise the right to make a choice and to move. So you're going to take everything that you... Hold on, I didn't say that. This is what I'm talking about. If you don't do it just right, it's going to be messy and ugly and awful. Okay. So, you're going to get everything that you brought in here, because once you move to your new table, you're going to be there for a long time. We're going to filibuster. All right. So, at this time, gather your belongings. Go to the table you choose to sit at. At the table of your choosing, introduce yourself to everyone at the table with your new title. Introduce yourself with your new title. All right, I'm looking for the 5. I know it's going to be insulting solution. That's really bad. But I'm looking for the 5 best runners-up for new titles. So if there's someone at your table that you think has a really cool new title, I want you to send them up here to the stage. Yep. Send them up to the stage. Come on, tables. This is where you put peer pressure on your friends. This is what we do at the Y, peer pressure. What I love is how some of them are self-identifying themselves. What? Get them up. Oh. Send the representative. Send the representative. Come up, you're represented. Who? Send somebody up to represent.
Dream drive.
You gotta get up on the front of the stage. All right, now we've got some terrific folks here representing the Harrison Family YMCA. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Let me tell you something though, y'all. It takes some courage. It takes some courage to come up. Thank you. It takes some courage to come up on stage. And so when they are introducing themselves, we're going to practice those core values of the Y. Respect, listen to them, and let's give them all a big round of applause after they've introduced themselves. After they've introduced, they haven't done anything to earn applause yet, y'all. Come on now. We're not going to just, this isn't like everybody gets the trophy. But when they introduce themselves, let's give them a big round of applause. All right. Which direction are we going to go? All right, so you just come front, so you got to introduce yourself.
Yay!
And then also tell them what department where you work.
Woohoo!
All right? And then just soak in the applause. And then when you're done, you go back to your seat.
Sounds good. I'm Haley. I work in aquatics, and our table picked Baywatch.
Leadership, and my title is Chief Cleaner.
I'm Evan. I work in aquatics, and my title is Sea Sentinel.
I'm Thomas. I work in aquatics, and I am the deck dictator.
and I am in marketing, and my title is Chaos Coordinator.
There's a lot of us from aquatics up here.
Because we're the best!
And I'm the high priestess of the pool.
I'm Keith. And I'm a gym monitor. And my new name is Happy Wheels.
I'm Glenda, greeters to all, and my area is Shawatch.
I'm Doris, I work in childcare, and my title is Fairy Godmother. I'm Beverly, I work in childcare, and my title is Mom, Motivator, and Party Animal. And of course, say the best for last. I'm Miss Braswell, and my new title is Miss Do-It-All.
I need you to stay up here and finish this training for me. Good job. Let's give them all a round of applause. That's a great thing to think about. You know, what we do is so much more than our job title. And what's really cool is, and it feels really good. Let's go to the next slide. What feels really good is to remember that our jobs are so much more than just the tactical transactional things that we do. At the end of the day, we want everyone. We want our whole staff family. But more than that, we want our volunteers also to feel proud of the organization that they work for and feel passionate about the work that they do, because that's our mission. All right, so let's talk about building relationships with people. We've been talking a lot about the importance of connecting to the wise cause, which is to
Strengthen community.
We've been talking a lot about connecting to the wise cause, which is
Strengthening community.
You guys, thank you. I know it's been a long day, and y'all already put in hours of work, and now you're here. So thank you for staying with me. Thank you for staying with me. So let's understand the important role that we play in fulfilling that promise. Now we're going to talk about the importance of building relationships with people in the wild. Think about what makes a community strong. What makes a community strong? It's the people. Absolutely. It's the people. And the wild is the perfect hub for bringing people of all dimensions of diversity together and providing a safe space for building authentic relationships. When people have relationships at the Y, what's likely to happen? They're likely to stay, aren't they? They're likely to be more engaged. Does this apply just to staff? No, it applies to volunteers and members too. You know what I love about freedom? With freedom comes responsibility. What's that? Yeah, with freedom comes responsibility. And with the freedom of choosing your table comes the responsibility of staying engaged and listening, or else we lose our freedoms. And so with relationships that are so important, let's go on. We've got another little video to show, which is a story about Jude and Andy.
It may sound cheesy. People say this all the time, and I didn't get it until I walked into a YMCA in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I was afraid, deathly afraid to go to the gym at the university because they were not like me. And I went to the YMCA and I walked in the front door, and instantly I just felt this sense of home. And every time I've traveled to any city, I've gone to the YMCA to feel part of a community. But this YMCA in particular, over these past 13 and a half years, has completely transformed the person that I am and appreciate my path, and I wouldn't be this kind of person without the YMCA at all. My name is Jude Hickey. I'm with the Town Lake YMCA of Austin, Texas. Yeah, I started as a towel folder at the towel desk, and I just loved it. And then all these years later, I'm here as the Associate Executive Director of this YMCA. And I feel like that the YMCA has taught me how to have relationships. One of my best friends works here at the YMCA, and his name is Andy Castile. He is our Executive Director of Hugs. First of all, he makes me laugh. You know, one story in particular, I was having a really bad day, and he noticed. And so we were walking along, and there was this pole coming along, and Andy, on purpose, like smacked his head on it, and I just started laughing so hard, and he started laughing, and then just like the whole mood just went away. He just sees things. He sees everything. He knows when we're happy or upset or sad, and he takes care of it. The Y is only the place that it is because people like him. And because people just come and share themselves. That's what the YMCA is all about.
Director of Hugs, do you think that's his official title? Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. How cool is that? Jude found a community within the Y. Not only that, but he eventually met his best friend, Andy. God, this is our gift. This is our gift as a staff. And again, I'm not telling y'all that this is what we need to start doing, because I know that a lot of it is already happening at the Y. But it's the gift that we have as staff about connecting people and helping folks build friendships and deepen them. And we do that through sharing experiences and sharing stories with each other. And when we do that, a lot of good listen first trainings come into play. But inviting and listening, you know, that's so easy to say, isn't it? It's just easy to say. That's all you got to do. It's easy to say, but it's hard to do. Well, unless you're the Sultan of Solutions. Come on, give me a little more than that. That's good. It's always important about inviting folks to share with you and listen to them. All right, so what's your story? And, you know, Jacqueline, thanks for sharing your story. You know, everyone in here has a unique story. No, in fact, you probably have two unique stories that no one else in this room has. And that first story is what brought you to the Y. Why did you choose to come and work at the Y? That's a story. That's a really good story. If you haven't really developed a good answer to that, think about it. Think about it. Why did you accept the job offer when you were offered to work at the Y? And the second unique story that everybody has in here, why did you stay? Why have you stayed at the Y? And I doubt anyone's two stories are the same. Think about your story, because it's a great one to share with others. So let's talk a little bit more about storytelling. And with that, on this next slide, I am going to ask us to read this slide together. So I'll prompt you. On three, let's read this out loud together. 1, 2, 3.
Tell me a fact and I'll learn. Tell me a truth and I'll believe. But tell me a story and it will live in my heart forever.
Good job. That sounded great. Y'all were a good chorus. Thank you. What does that mean to you? What does this mean to you?
Compassion for other people and knowing what their story is and caring.
And what happens when that happens?
It opens your heart and opens you to the community and more compassion for everybody.
It spreads, yeah. It's contagious, yes. It lives on. It lives on. You know, I don't know about y'all, but I love jokes. And I can hear a joke, and then 5 minutes later, I've forgotten it. When everybody says, hey, you got a joke? Tell me a joke. I'm like, yeah. I can't think of a single one. But you can sit there and tell me 100 of them. I'm going to laugh at every one of them. I think they're all going to be great, and I don't remember them. You tell me a story, it's going to live with me forever. I'll remember the stories. Well, y'all, same thumbs up? Man, stories are powerful. They live with you forever. We talk a lot about data, we talk a lot about facts, we talk a lot about things like that. That always escapes us, but stories have a magic about them, that they live forever. Storytelling is very important for a cause-driven organization. And guess what? The YMCA is a cause-driven organization because we have a cause, which is
Strengthen community.
Strengthen communities. Helps build and deepen the relationships between people, which helps create a sense of belonging. But it's sharing the genuine stories of impact that help us engage others. By doing so, our movement grows. It's important to allow us to continue to grow. In other words, if we engage the hearts and minds and hands, the feet will follow. Again, like a joke, has anyone ever heard here at the Y from your supervisor or from somebody else, hey, I need a story. Can you get me a story? A story of impact. Well, listen, do you have to ask for that a lot? Yeah. Uh-huh. And do you get like 1,000 of them every time you ask? No, it's hard. It's hard. And a lot of times it's hard because what we like to say is, to us, the ordinary, the extraordinary is ordinary. The extraordinary is ordinary. What we do every day is ordinary because it's what we do every day. But what we do every day to the folks with whom we do it is extraordinary for them because it's transformative. And that's what makes, I think, in my heart, it's so hard for us to identify stories and share stories because to us it's just ordinary. Why would I tell anybody about that? Is what I do every day. But it really is extraordinary what we do. And so let me give you a few tools or a few ideas or a few ways that might help us, because storytelling, again, helps move our movement forward. Bulletin boards and chalkboards are a great idea, and the stickies are great, and with that you can just ask these prompts. And so this is a very passive way. You can do this at any department in any place in the Y, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. Just ask a question and you stick it up there. You don't have to ask it. You can post it. You can ask a question, what did you learn today? And just see what kind of responses you get. What goals do you have this week? It's amazing what folks are willing to share. You don't even have to ask them for that. What are you thankful for? Do you think questions like that, folks walking by, they might just have a couple of extra minutes, they might, stick up a sticky note or something, and it's a kernel, it's a nugget, it's something that makes you say, wow, I didn't know that. And then you go and you find more, and you discover a good story. Other good prompts, how is your family involved at the Y? When and where did you first join the Y? That's a great one to ask folks. When and where did you first join the Y? It's amazing what a lot of times, I have no idea, and then they'll think about it, and then they'll smile, because they'll remember, and then they're going to have the story to share with you. It could be really cool. See if anybody joined the Y in the 1840s. During the Y programs, this is really cool, and this is a picture of a group fitness class. But this can happen in any program. In any program. This is called the 3-minute drill. Who doesn't have 3 minutes to give in their program, especially at the start of it? In group fitness, it's really good because it's when everybody's just warming up. The 3-minute drill consists of a 2-minute connect prompt. So the instructor says, okay, for 2 minutes, answer this question. What was your first car? It's just a simple question. What was the last movie you saw? What's the best summer vacation you've had? Just ask the question. And it's amazing to have all the folks in the program answer the question. Take 2 minutes. It's just a headline. And all of a sudden folks are starting to learn something about each other. And it makes connections, which builds relationships, which also share stories. And then the 3rd minute, you're waiting to see what that last minute would be. And in that last minute is the best opportunity because the staff person leading that program then has 1 minute to share with the group, the captive audience, something really cool about the YMCA that helps us to achieve our cause. And that way the folks know that they are a member of something so much more than a gym or a swim, but a movement. And then another way to do stories is just through the casual in-person conversations. How many of you do this? Raise your hand if it's you, because this is my me. Lee, hey, how's your day? Perfect. Yeah. Jacqueline, how you doing? Yeah. How many of y'all, when you approach folks, you'll say something like that? Perfect, we're human, we're all the same, yes. That's what we do. Think about how different it is at the YMCA. Instead, if you walked up to somebody and said, hey, tell me about a member who made you smile today. They didn't think about it. What's that? Yeah. Wow, what did he do? There's your story. Tell me about, you say, instead you're like, hi, tell me about an after-school participant you're proud of, and why. Just asking a little bit of a probing question that is not so much more than it's just our reflex. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how's your day? You don't really even care what they say when you ask that question. And does anybody ever say not just good or fine? No. And so think about just a question that you'll go around and ask folks. It's amazing the stories that you will get. Stories create relationships. Relationships can then connect with other people and deepen relationships and transform lives, which is what the Y does. So, that is a lot to talk about. And everyone in here is ambitious. Everybody in here wants to succeed. If I'm not talking about you, you can leave. But we want to be successful. We want to do a good job. We're dedicated to our mission and our cause. You've just listened to me talk for a long time. You said, wow, he's told us a lot of important things. I really want to do well. I want to be the best I can be. How will I know if I'm being successful? What does success look like? Let's watch this last video and see if we can get some tips.
Life ain't just black and white, and there are no straight lines. There are going to be moments in time when your life is clearly defined by a decision to go left or right, to travel a path unknown or be led by sight. See, you need vision, an internal GPS, to be guided by a cause that is bigger than self. I believe in divine intervention because 4 years ago I got a call for an interview for a temp position. It was supposed to be 5 to 6 months, and after my time was up, I was up like Chuck. I can remember the conversation like it was yesterday. I said, what's the name of the company? The young lady said, YMCA. I asked, did you read my resume? Because nowhere on there does it say gym or swim, but little did I know, I was about to dive in. Life ain't just black and white, and there are no straight lines. There are going to be moments in time where your life is clearly defined by a decision to go left or right, to travel a path unknown or be led by sight. See, you need vision, an internal GPS, to be guided by a cause that is bigger than self. I believe in divine intervention. It plays a role in everything, like Carolyn Krieger and the rest of the legends knew that one day that there would be a you, and a me, and that we needed a compass like Emily, or people like Paula Creer and Sue Mackey, and their tenacity, seeing a cause-driven leader in me when I didn't believe. So I pay it forward by just giving you some of my why story about how I earned my team leader certification and became a Living Our Cause trainer, and with healthy living, I've lost over 130 pounds. I just want to be a vision of what's possible with patience and time. Know that you're here for a divine reason, and this is just not luck or coincidence. You could have been anywhere else working, but you're here in this organization at this time. I need you to be engaged and know that the work you do is important. No matter your job title, you're a cause-driven leader, so act accordingly. And here are some examples of what that might look like. Be welcoming to all you meet. Be nurturing when someone is in need. Be genuine and let the real you shine through. Be determined to give your all every day. and be hopeful, even on them gray days. Life ain't just black and white, and there are no straight lines. There are going to be moments in time where your life is clearly defined by a decision to go left or right, to travel a path unknown, or be led by sight. See, you need vision, an eternal GPS, to be guided by a cause that is bigger than self. I believe in divine intervention.
That's what success looks like. It's pretty easy. It's pretty inspiring. He started at the Y as a temp. He even questioned why he was being sent there, because his resume didn't reflect a gem in the swim. But he got there, and he discovered more. It's the transformational work. How did he do it? He did it through the other staff that he was working with. They took him under his wing, under their wing. They grew him, they nurtured him, and he discovered. He built relationships. He found a place to belong. How many temps come to a place and say, well, I'm just here temporarily? And they don't even try to belong. That's almost impossible to come to the Y and not feel you belong. And if you do feel you don't belong, then we've broken our promise. And that's not the case here in Rocky Mountain. That's why I love coming to Rocky Mountain. That's why I love being here with y'all tonight. You guys have been terrific. It's been a long day. You work hard. It's been an emotional month. But you made the choice to be here. You made the choice to listen and to be engaged, to participate. You made the choice to be a member of this family. You made the choice to make a difference in the lives of those folks who come to the Y. You made the choice to extend the invitation to people in the community who aren't a part of the Y yet. You are living our cause, and you're doing it proudly. Thank you for having me here tonight, and I can't wait to come back and spend more time with y'all.
Thank you again to Walt. I think Walt spoke for about an hour, but this is a good job. It only felt like about 58 minutes, Walt. It was really, really amazing. I'm sure we're all thankful to be out of here around 8:40 as well. But excellent job by Walt. Walt is not the only one who gets to do the sticky note thing and get you to write something. So as we close tonight, there's one final thing you want to do that is up here on the board. So before we wrap it up, we'll wrap it up in like 2 minutes. Is a challenge for you guys to think about one thing that you can take away from tonight. What is one thing you can take away from tonight's training and time together and that you can incorporate into your role at the Y? So take a sticky note, write down the one thing that you can take away from tonight and incorporate into your role at the Y. Write it down, and your challenge is to take that home with you, put it up on your refrigerator or put it up at your workspace somewhere at the YMCA. And just remember that you are the organization. You can make a difference. You guys can make a change. So take just a moment before we close, if you will, and write that one thing down.